So here's the thing. Whatever is creating the noise is a judgment that you have. To put it quite simply, something is happening in your life, you judge it. Now, judgment energetically is a closed energy, right? The moment you judge, you close. Close to what? What are you closing off to? Love. Now, love is an open energy. Again, now I just want to tell you here, when I'm talking about love, I'm talking about the real love, not the need to be loved. There's a difference, but again, I'm not going to go into that right now. But love is what heals. Love is what cures. Love is what silences the noise. That's all I got to tell you, right? So when you have an opportunity to reclaim your power, right, this is what it looks like. There's something going on in your life, and that something has caused disturbance to you energetically. And by disturbance, I mean you are judging it. And as you judge it, you are having a reaction called a resistance to it. So what that means is when you feel this thing that you're judging, this disturbance, you begin to resist it. Now, what do we know about what we resist? What we resist will ultimately persist, as they say. All right? So, generally, what most people do is then look into their world and try to fix, improve, or change, or get rid of the very thing that is causing them to feel that resistance. And then what do we learn about that in the self-development world? Well, we remove it, we've fixed it, we improved it, we changed it, but then all it did is it disappeared momentarily and it came back in a different form. Like, for example, if you're feeling insecure around your relationship, you kind of do the work and you fix, improve, or change your relationship, and then you go, oh, I'm not feeling insecure around my relationship, and then you feel insecure around your wealth, around your money. You fix, improve, and change that. Oh, I'm not feeling insecure around that. Oh, I'm feeling insecure around my body, my health. I'm having health issues. It just changes form. You can never fix, improve, or change something. You can only, as Gandhi says, be the change. Now, how do you be the change? Well, you be the change with love. Okay? Now, I told you it's very simple. Judgment, closed energy. Okay? When you're in fear, when you're in danger, do you do this? Or do you do this? You do this, don't you? You close off. You go into the fetal position, if you like. But when you're in love or in surrender, in joy or in empowerment, are you closed off like this in the fetal position, or do you open up? So physically, you are having a reflection of what I'm talking to you about. That there is exactly what's happening energetically. So here's the thing. Love, as I said just a moment ago, is what cures, what heals the pain, right? What's the pain? The resistance. What's the resistance? The thing that you're judging. I have a quote that I teach people. Love is all there is. All else is your judgment of what is. There's nothing but love. And if you're not experiencing love in all things, then you're experiencing your judgment of it. Very big pill to swallow, all right? And I'm just going to leave that there for now, but that's the truth. So, you have this disturbance energetically, and this disturbance is judgment. You have this resistance. Why do you have resistance? Because you want it to go away. You're resisting it. Okay? That then feeds that emotion, and it continues for it to exist in your reality and continues for it to be reflected in your story. And you keep seeing it in your story. Why does this keep happening to me? But all this, most importantly, is making so much noise for you not to be able to hear your intuition or the feeling. That's the biggest thing it's doing. Right? Because within all this, your intuition will guide you. Within all this, your feeling will direct you. But you don't hear it because you're too busy resisting an emotion that you're in judgment of. You're in closed energy. Now, again, I said to you, love is what heals. So what do you think to yourself you meant to do? Okay, most people will say, well, don't resist it. Well, if you're not resisting it, what are you doing? What's love's energy? Open. What's the opposite of judgment? Because it's judgment that's creating the noise. Your judgment is creating the noise. Your continual, persistent judgment is creating the baggage, which is what we call our patterns. What is the opposite of judgment? Acceptance. Learn that word. Acceptance. But how do you accept? Because there is accepting intellectually and going, well, I accept you, which kind of looks like this. I forgive you. I forgive you. You've done wrong by me, but I forgive you. I'm in judgment of what you've done, but I forgive you. Most people think that's acceptance. That is acceptance intellectually. If you truly accepted, you would realize there was no one to forgive. Hey, I'm just pointing it out. Okay? That's the deepest level. Let's just call it, if you're into forgiveness, that's your deepest level of forgiveness. Okay? If you truly accepted, and again, guess what you're accepting? Most people think you're accepting someone else or a circumstance that's happened to you. No, you're accepting how you perceive that circumstance. You're accepting your own emotions. That's why you realize when you truly have accepted, not intellectually, because intellectually you're still looking at someone or something that has caused you to have those emotions. You are accepting your own feelings. You're accepting your own judgment. And that looks like this. Arms open. What am I doing here? I'm embracing. So rather than resisting my emotion, I begin to embrace it. What's going to happen when you begin to embrace it? The very judgment that you have, the very disturbance energetically that you're experiencing, your reaction will intensify. That's why you've been resisting it, because you're kind of putting a lid on it. You're sitting on it. That you're sitting on it to make sure you don't feel it, because you don't want to feel it. But what there is to do here is actually feel it, but feel it without judgment. Embrace. So, to neutralize your baggage or an emotion that you've been resisting, you do the opposite to what you've been used to doing. The first thing you do is you're looking outside to why I'm feeling this or why this has happened to me. So you don't do that. You look within yourself and you feel the emotion. The second thing you've been doing is you've been resisting the emotion. Stop the resistance. Surrender. Be present to the emotion and feel it. Now that is a process. But what you're doing there, and this, it's an art to be able to do this. Because you can't just feel it with resistance. Sometimes people comes to me about this process, and I've got this process, I've been going on with it for about 9 months. And sometimes your process may go for 9 months. I understand, because You know, the baggage is pretty big for some things. Some things are small, right? So when someone comes and goes, I've been still sitting with this for 9 months, I'm like, okay, it's pretty big baggage. And then I sit down and do a consultation with them, and I realize the baggage is not that much of a big baggage. And I ask a few questions, and I realize they've been like saying, they use the words like, I've been sitting with it. I've been sitting with it. You know, have you heard that term before? I'm sitting with it. But I realized after asking questions, they weren't sitting with it. They were sitting with the resistance of it. So what they were doing is they're sitting there and feeling it, and they're going, I'm sitting and feeling it, but all they're doing is sitting and feeling the resistance of it. They're not sitting with the emotion. Guys, I promise you, if you can sit with the emotion and embrace the emotion, it turns into love. And then you will understand why I say love is all there is. All else is your judgment of what is. Yet I understand not everybody can do that immediately. At first, most people are sitting with the resistance of it. And then going, I'm feeling it, I'm sitting with it, I'm sitting with it. You're not. Because when you sit with the feeling, when you sit with the emotion becomes a feeling, becomes the feeling. It becomes love. In fact, you will wipe the memory of why you are even feeling that emotion. The memory of that disappears. Now, when I say the memory of that disappears, I'm not saying, well, you can't recall it. You can recall it, but the memory is no longer live. It's no longer charged. Therefore, it no longer feeds your perception of your reality. And therefore, it's no longer a pattern. So, to put this into steps, okay, I've just explained to you the reclaiming power process, okay? For me, people always ask me, so I'll tell you straight off the bat, do you reclaim power? No. I mean, I used to. I used to be reclaiming. For 3 years, I was just sitting there, and everything that was happening, I was reclaiming power. And people ask me, well, what's your process when something happens? I place my attention on the truth. How can I place my attention on the truth? Because I have space. Now, when you're in the emotion and you're resisting it and you're in judgment, guess what? The door's closed. You cannot place your attention on the truth. So I could tell you, hey, place your attention on the truth. And some of you don't even know what the truth is. What's the truth? I mean, I don't know. Like, what's the truth? And that's the self-realization part. But even if you knew what the truth is, because you've been doing the self-realization, self-actualization work, you won't be able to place your attention on the truth if you're in judgment. Judgment is the glue that pulls the curtain tight, keeps it closed. Curtain's here. What's it closed from? It's no longer this. It's, I see you. The third eye sees. So, here's the steps. The key word here is judgment, right? The moment you're experiencing an emotion, you don't want to judge it. Remember what I said. What's the opposite of judgment? It's acceptance. But you can't accept intellectually. You got to accept with your feeling. And that feels like to embrace it. So what you're doing is allowing yourself to feel the very thing that you're in judgment of. You are then sitting with those emotions to the point where it becomes, for me, it feels like I've become one with it. It's like a oneness experience. It no longer is an emotion. It becomes the feeling. It becomes love. And sometimes, I don't know, I just sometimes get to a point where I just completely forget, why am I even having this process? Why am I even feeling this? Like, I can feel the memory of it is disconnected. And it's not because I've brushed the memory of it aside. And I haven't fixed, improved, changed anything. All I've done is embraced. Love is what heals. So the first step is I identify what I'm in judgment of. The second step, I identify how I'm resisting it. The third step is I feel the emotions. I sit with the emotions. I sit and I feel it. Right? Now you'll notice your mind come in and it wants to feed to yourself why you should be angry or in judgment of whatever is causing you those emotions. Notice when you do this, the mind will come in and go, yeah, but that bitch, she did this to me and da 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 da. I wouldn't. Oh, shh. Shush it and feel it. Just remember that. Amir said, shush it and feel it. Okay, but feel it with an open heart, guys. Feel it, embrace it, sit with it. Don't sit with the resistance of it. That's not it. And that is how you take the baggage out, the garbage out, trash out. Okay? Now, what I just shared with you is how to neutralize the emotion. Okay? And some people will get to a point that they're like, I feel neutral about it. It's like, it's neither here or there. What that has done is it's freed you up. But that is not the reclaiming power process, because there's one more step. After you've neutralized the emotion, why do you want to neutralize the emotion? Because if you're in judgment, you can't what? Place your attention on the truth. So once you neutralize it, you have the opportunity to place your attention on the truth. And once you place your attention on the truth, you have reclaimed the power. It no longer ceases to exist in your reality. It no longer, remember I told you in the first session, removing the glasses, removing your perception glasses is what's seeing the truth. Not comparing what you're seeing versus what someone else is seeing, and they're seeing the world orange, you're seeing the world blue, and going to war with each other, going, well, no, the world's blue, and they're going, no, the world's orange. That ain't it. It's removing the glasses. But to remove the glasses, you must see the truth with a capital T, not the truth that has an opposite called a lie. That's not it. The truth with a capital T. But you can't see the truth if you're in judgment. So this process is to take you out of judgment. That's all it is. Okay? And you could use this day to day as you go along. And I understand some of you got big baggage. All right? I mean, you start, get to work, right? But don't expect it to be in the next 24 hours. Because all you're doing is you're chiseling away parts of it, And I mean, don't get me wrong, if you are willing to go all the way and feel it completely, embrace it, and have no thought going, but why, you would reclaim your power immediately. But that there, my friends, is how you reclaim your power.